It's good to see you all. I missed you. It's been 20 minutes. We're coming at you nonstop, man. Scaling up. This is fun. It is nonstop entertainment. I loved the DSO panel. It didn't just apply to DSOs, all of the tips. So we got to rename that one for next year. It's awesome to hear from a scale of businesses from 60 to 1,200 locations. But not everybody has 1,200 locations. So today we're going to talk about how to be scrappy dabby and do the kind of shit that gets results without a big budge. And I've got two of my BFFs here with us. Let's bring them in. Do I say that? Let's bring them in. Is that weird? Do we actually do that? Okay. Hey, what's up, Lori?
Hi, how's it going?
I'm tired of shit, but you can't tell. You can't tell.
You look great. You look hydrated.
Yeah, I am hydrated. These are actually just for decoration. I have my shitty cheap water that I didn't want anyone to see the brand of down here. What's up, Jacob?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Lori, you got snow today.
Yeah, it's just a little icy, like snow and sleet, but I think the big stuff's coming later today.
Oh, awesome. We were there a few weeks ago and they said that the first snow was going to come that Sunday. I was like, dude, it's like 72 degrees right now. They said, that's how Colorado works. I'm like, oh my God. Listen, I know you guys very well. Crap. So I forgot to do intros because I know you guys so well. And we've got like 30 minutes. So we got to get to it. Jacob, not Jacob, ladies first. This is crazy. Lori, give a quick intro on yourself.
Hi, I'm Lori, VP of Marketing for Facial Aesthetics. My background's mostly was in dental. I've moved it in the med spa space. So really excited to talk all things healthcare marketing.
Yeah, I love it. From teeth to beauty.
Face, yeah.
And now, in the dental panel, the dentists are now starting to do Botox and fillers and all that stuff. So you go sit down, get your teeth clean, get your face tightened.
I wouldn't
so
trust
sure
it
that's
with
competition.
Botox. Just saying.
Oh, shit, don't tell them. Some of those are my clients. Jacob, give a little intro, buddy.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? My name is Jacob. I'm the VP of Marketing for Synergy Healthcare. Kind of been through it all, though. I've been in marketing in the QSR space, the retail space, and healthcare, but always ran really lean, small teams and managed to make a pretty big impact with that.
Yeah. What does Synergy do?
Full muscular skeletal care.
Okay.
Spine, back, everything. Yeah.
What that means. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I love it. And I know y'all well, and y'all get a lot done without a lot of resources. That's good. And you both worked at really big groups, but either way, you know how to get a lot done with very little. So that's good. Let's start with team. How do you structure? Oh, by the way, audience, we have an inside thing. If you can find the Eminem quote or Dre, I'm going to include Dre for Lori. If you hear the Eminem or Dre quote or name of song, you put it in the chat. Our team will watch. I'm going to send you a $25 gift card. All right, now on to the next episode. Lori, can you tell us, how do you structure a Scrappy team? What are the qualities you look for? What are the key roles to have in-house and then outsource, all that kind of stuff?
So I've had different size teams, right? From 1 all the way up to 20 employees. But for me, like, and in my position now, I'm kind of like a startup. I have a marketing manager and a marketing strategist. I think it's really important to have people that wear a lot of hats. So like my marketing manager is really good at doing graphic design. Like, why would we outsource that when we can utilize her to do those things? Our marketing strategist does a lot of our social media, going into the office and doing that. So we just wear a lot of hats and a lot of encouragement and honestly, a lot of teaching. Like, I'm not above doing something that they do day to day, and I want them to know how to do everything I can do. We're a team.
It's good servant leadership. You are willing. That's really important to be any kind of leader or manager, willing to do anything you ask someone else to do, which means you have to have done everything else at some point in your life. Do you think that there's anything critical that should not be kept in-house?
And I'm not just saying this is because of you, but for me, like, I don't think
you into it.
You can't build a digital strategy or an SEM strategy in-house. You're not going to find the best person to do it. I prefer agencies because they have a team of the best people doing it. I wouldn't bring it in-house. I tried one time and it epically failed.
Yeah, they usually end up coming back to the dark side. We heard from Adam, the Chief Marketing Officer for ShoreCap yesterday. In-source brain power, outsource horsepower. I really like that. Jacob, how do you look at your team structure? What needs to be kept at Synergy and what can be distributed elsewhere?
So, like Lori said, right, I've had different scales of teams, and right now I probably have a larger team than I have in my past. But really it's kind of, I joke, I met someone in the DSO field that calls herself a unicorn. That's kind of what you're looking for, right? And I know, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Someone who has to wear a lot of different hats. And so for me, I find someone who's like right out of college is an awesome candidate, someone who's going to be like a marketing coordinator, but can kind of do a lot of different things, is up to date on, you know, what's new, what's not. And then really similar, right? Like you have to be willing to jump in yourself and manage a lot of that. And sometimes that, like, you know, it's, I had to use Canva just for the first time a few years ago, right? Because I was just like, this has to get done. And my prior organization had an entire graphics department team, right? And now all of a sudden it's me. So that's kind of what I look for. I echo what Lori said, though. Digital in-house is really challenging. If you're small, I think you could probably, you know, if you're small and can afford it, bring in like a director of digital. But even then, they're going to look to outsource with a business partner.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Keeping the brains in-house once again, and then getting in there and learning Canva or whatever else necessary to ship it, if you will.
Yeah. And on that same note, I think graphics design, right? Like I joked that I use Canva. That's not my skill set. That should not be.
Yeah.
Find someone who's a good graphic designer. You can usually find like an awesome freelancer and run down that path. Yeah.
Dude,
And typically I find graphic designers, that's their path, right? That's what they do. And they're not going to be the unicorn that you need.
And I have not found AI to make like super awesome, unique graphics that, you know, in the coming years, it's taken all of our jobs, but really you can find tons of them on Upwork that are really high quality. There is a difference between high quality that understand brand and motivations and
Right.
Ones that are probably just using Canva and shipping it off to you. So, but you can run a huge team with Upwork on contractors. I mean, you know, huge team of specialists, and it can be 1 or 2 people in house. I love it. How do you guys like, you have a bunch of business partners, if you will, that are coming to you, hey, we need more patients here or there. Lori, how do you prioritize which projects, with limited resources, which projects, which stakeholders, who gets the priority? Is it squeakiest wheel, the provider that's yelling the loudest? Like, how do you prioritize that? Is it based on patient acquisition, or what do you do?
It's 100% not the squeakiest wheel. And I usually ignore them the hardest because you have to set boundaries in all parts of your life. For me, it's ROI and patient acquisition, right? How many new patients? What's the goal? How are we retaining the patients? And then ROI, right? Like for me, how much I want the most revenue I can get out of the project. If there's no revenue, if there's no way to track revenue, we're not doing it.
Yeah. Jacob, you look at it similarly. If it's not trackable, not going to drive the business forward, or do you play the squeakiest?
I don't think there's any other answer, right? It's ROI all day long. You got to partner with analytics and figure out what's going to drive the most revenue. And that's where you take your small amount of money that you have and your small team. And that's where you put forth that for 100%.
You can't pretend to be Superman and take everything on. All right. What share did you get share Lori? So you listening?
I know, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think.
All right. Don't worry, I got more sneaky ones coming. Talk about specific campaigns, guys, that you've gotten like crazy good results with limited resources in your past. Anything that comes to mind? Well, this is easy with just 2 people. We keep starting from the top. You know what, Jacob, we'll give you the first.
Yeah, Jacob, you go first.
Yeah. So you know, I was thinking about it this morning, and I go back to my time I was at a big QSR, right? So huge marketing team, but we were value centric and value oriented. And one of the marketing tactics that we deployed was super cost efficient and effective. And it sounds crazy, but it was we used to have someone. You guys know what shaker boarding is?
No.
You know what Little Caesars is? Okay. Yes.
Sign?
Yeah. Huge revenue driver, right? I mean, I'm telling you, I know it sounds ridiculous, but honestly, you could, if traffic was down and you were at a slower location, that marketing tactic would drive traffic into the store almost instantly.
Flipping the signs.
Yeah. Yep. I know, right? Like start thinking about where you can employ that in other aspects of the business, right?
You need spine surgery.
Yeah, no, it was hugely impactful. They still do it today. I know that they have a huge competition, both international and domestic. They fly people out to Vegas for it. It's become a big thing. Yeah, highly effective.
Yeah, that's cool. Who'd
I
have
love
thunk
that.
it? I guess that
Alex,
works.
you know
Yeah,
they do
Lauren.
that for they do that for the mom's spaghetti restaurant.
You know that's in
That's
Detroit,
right.
right?
I
I
lost
do, I
myself
do.
in Jacob's idea, so I couldn't keep up with that one. What have you seen work really well for Little Budge?
So for me, when I was at Peak, we had a really small specialty budget for oral surgeons, and we had a bigger implant clinic budget, but I wanted to really drive some of those oral surgery cases. So, I found there's an app on the scooters, the dumb scooters downtown that on all downtowns that you see just laying on the side of the road. And literally when you check out, it said need an emergency dentist, right? Because they break their teeth
That's
and
great.
yeah. So, and these patients weren't coming in for like $100 treatment. It was anywhere from 5,000 to a full arch. So, and it cost me $36 per 1,000 impressions, and all in, butts and seats, it cost us $30 to get an oral surgery patient in for that campaign.
That's crazy
Yeah.
smart, dude.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. I would have never thought about that. They are like, we are down here in downtown Atlanta and they're everywhere. And people
Right.
are flying by with no helmets on. Is that the scaling up mug?
Yes, it is. It's a vintage one.
Yes. Yes. All right. That's last year. Speakers get them every year. Jacob doesn't get anything.
Yeah.
Guys, sorry, we got lost in the mail. I think we ran out of money. Jacob, what kind of MarTech tools have you found most like, all right, let's pivot to patient acquisition. That's what everybody is going to care most about going into next year. It's going to be a tough year. What MarTech have you found to be the most valuable, helps, but doesn't cost an arm and a leg?
Yeah, listen, I think you got to invest in reputation management, right? And it's not a huge investment, but it's an important investment. And having that as a business partner is hugely impactful, right? Managing what people are saying about you and how you respond to that is important. So definitely there.
Yeah, doesn't cost a fortune. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then on a lower cost, right? So MailChimp, right? If you're really running lean and mean and you need to get email campaigns out, I would stick with that.
Yeah, use it to nurture patients. You have a longer sales cycle, if you will, probably, right? Are you guys largely referral driven? You net new patient people coming off the street with looking for any kind of spine, shoulder?
Yeah, so right now I run a B2C and a B2B team, and so it's a little bit of both, right? So it's driving new patient demand direct to consumer, and then it's all through referral business to business.
Gotcha. All right, so you got both. Ooh, that's tough. I mean, even with spine and these like sophisticated surgeons, they know they tore their ACL, right? But they look on their own, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So they'll come in for PT. So we're a one-stop shop. So they'll come in for PT, and then we go to maybe pain management, and then if there's a process that we need to deploy into surgery, we can go that path and then come back.
Are you using MailChimp to nurture patients, the PT ones? Hey, by the way, the benefit, your outcomes will improve if or do you use MailChimp, email marketing in that kind of way?
Yeah, currently here at this org, we have not used MailChimp, right? So we use Constant Contact, but same thing. Yeah.
MailChimp their office is in the building next to us. In fact, that's crazy that we're down here. Lori, what's some of your favorite wizardry tools to help you get the job done? Not super expensive.
In my new role, we brought on Patient Prism, and it's been life-changing. I know it's predominantly like a dental tool, but when I came on, they weren't even tracking any of their marketing. Nothing had a tracking number associated with it. So Patient Prism is instrumental, and we even use it for our front desk. We can see all the pages that a patient clicks on before they make the phone call. So they use it as a sales tool.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, there you go, Amal. You just got a free shout out. You didn't even have to sponsor this thing. That was worth money that you paid. And you use it to track what? Is it just calls, or is there more to it?
There's more to it. So we track calls and forms. And then also we use it as a training tool for our front desks, right? Like we can see a score for every person that answers the phone using their voice fingerprint. And then we base their bonuses off of KPIs within Patient Prism.
Oh, wow. They hate patientism.
They do. They hate it. Yeah.
Oh, man, I bet they do. Yeah, it is cool. And quick talking point there, to call them lead tracking stuff that we all should or are having put in place. It helps the COOs or the CEOs. They take a look. I mean, it helps them refine their operations and see how many leads are converting, locations and agents, who's not holding their weight, pulling their weight. Why aren't we converting? So it's hugely, hugely important. So very cool. So call them lead tracking. I like that perspective. You guys are running lean teams. How do you encourage them to embrace the scrappiness that you guys have? How do you get them to not just come and say, we need another body all the time? I've struggled with that at times. Like, how do I get everybody to think like I do and try to squeeze the penny longer?
Well, I think it by leading by example. I never want to hear, I don't know how to do that if you haven't Googled something first, right? Like I expect them to go find an answer before they come to me with a problem. And also like, just kind of like, it's the culture of like, let's just go kick ass. Like, let's just be a team. Like, we just got to find ways to get wins, quick wins, big wins, all the wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I love
you
that.
know,
Go Google it first. I hate getting obvious questions. Yeah.
Correct.
Which I don't actually, but except for my kids. Yeah, Jacob.
yeah, no, so, a lot of it is right, leading by example, but I like to also, there's a mutual understanding between myself and the team, right? So maybe we compensate them a little bit higher with the understanding of we're not going to just be able to bring in, 5 extra individuals, right? So a little higher compensation kind of leads to a little bit more, willingness to put forth effort, where sometimes it's easier just to say we need more bodies. And then it's, as we're growing, right, where this organization is just getting started. And so, down the road, there's a possibility to add additional people, but we have to show our value and return on investment as a small team. And if we can continue to prove that out, then, we generate revenue for the business. And then maybe there's opportunity to bring a bigger team on. But at the end of the day, it's kind of fun, right? You're in it together, you're late hours, you're working on different projects. And everyone has a piece of it, right? Because everyone, it's just you and 2 other people.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Yeah, that's
ownership.
fun. It's like a micro team. It's like a startup team. It's a micro team. It's you and 2 people. Hey, listen, we got to take care of all of this stuff. I like that. You incent them better. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
let's get back to
Yeah.
micro basics here.
And I think understanding too that like marketing has a huge part of the business, right? We run along with operations, but we're the revenue drivers of the organization. And kind of being proud of that, I think, is what drives myself and my team.
And guys, Austin here, our AV master of ceremonies, is putting up questions. So if y'all have questions, you throw them in there and he's putting them up. Before I get to them, I have a few more things I want to run by you. Lori, how do you keep morale up? You're always pushing a small team. How do you keep morale up? What are some of the things you do to say, hey, listen, guys, I know this is tough and I'm not giving you more resources necessarily?
So I'm really big on like celebrating moments. So if it's an anniversary, like I make sure to make them feel special. I treat them the way I would like my boss to treat me, right? Like if they come to me with a problem, they're like, hey, I feel sick. I'm going to try to work. I'm like, no, stay home, work from home. You know what I mean? Or like if you have something going on, people have lives. Like I just really try to be understanding. And then also like I get really excited when we get big wins. And I'll generally take them out to dinner and we'll have like a celebration. We just celebrate the moments.
That's awesome. Helps when they live locally.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, Jacob.
No, I was just agreeing with what Lori was saying, right? And then to your point, it helps when they live locally. So that's one of the things, like when I am interviewing, I see a lot of people that want to be remote. And when you're such a small team, I think that being face to face is a little bit easier, right? You can kind of just lean on each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps a ton. And it gets like continue buying when they see you're a human and they feel like, hey, these people are human. She's not just trying to ask me for more to get nothing out of it. Looking into 25, you're all in marketers, we're marketers. I want to talk about growth. Top challenge, top priority going into 2025. Top challenge in marketing, top priority going into 25.
I mean, Lori will probably say the same exact thing, but it's do more with less.
That's why we're here.
Right?
For this session.
And we're just wrapped budget season over here. And if I have to hear the word budget one more time, I think we're going to implode. but yeah, do more with less, right? And so that, how do you grow new patients by 18% and then grow revenue in the same scale? But by the way, we're not adding to the team, right? And so it's what do you do? And I think it goes back to what we were saying at the beginning, is you guys take a deep dive into what gave you your biggest ROI for the year and where can you invest that. And with us at Synergy right now, it's heavily investing in B2C because that currently is our biggest traffic driver. But we're not forgetting about the B2B team, right? The physician liaisons going out there on the pavement, building relationships. So we've set that team at a current budget. I don't think we'll probably increase that next year, but really trying to see and think outside of the box of ways that we can do more, whether that's through community engagement and, looking at it in that path, but budget season.
Did your B2B team just find out that their budget's not being increased on this live stream?
If it's new to them, we got to sit down and talk again.
18% increase y'all are going for. Okay, I gotcha. And probably, and no new headcount. So more with less. We kind of heard a lot of that yesterday. Lori, what's top struggle, top priority going into next year?
Top struggle is really back to basics. Like I said, there was no infrastructure in the marketing department. Nothing was being tracked. There was no budgets. There was no marketing plan, which is hard for me because I'm really not basic. So for me, I have to walk before I run, right? Like you have to have everything in place. So for me, it's really getting every step of the funnel in place before I can do cool shit. And that's what I like to do. So
yeah.
And the exciting part for 2025 is, now that we're starting to get these things in place, I want to start doing some outside the box within the med spa industry. It gives me a little bit more room to play. Dental was a little, even though I did do some interesting things, it gives me a little bit more rope to hang myself with, I guess.
Oh God, yeah, scary. I love that. Get good tracking so you can do cool shit. That should be McCall Rail Line Patient Prisms headline. Someone should take that from me. What are some of the outside of the box things you're thinking? Because aesthetics is like borderline HIPAA. It's not like there's not really it's borderline, right? Sometimes not. So where do you think you're gonna be able to push the envelope a little bit?
I mean, I like the idea, and again, I'm just kind of spitballing here, but I like the idea of like branding, like, like syringes, they don't really have anything in them, but they're maybe like shooters. Like, when I branded like rolling papers for weed for like college dental towns, so, like, and that went like gangbusters. We made bongs that were branded, something like that.
Can you brand my gummies? Just
Yeah.
kidding. Just a weekend thing. I don't care. All right, we got a question from John Field. Sometimes it's hard to get buy-in for new scrappy ideas. Any tips for how to convince my team to take risk on more creative strategies? Y'all don't jump in. Jacob.
Sorry, I thought that was a direct question to Lori.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, creative, right? Like I always come in saying that I'm like outside the box and I want them to come to the table for our weekly marketing meeting with 5 things they wouldn't tell the CEO they want to do, right? Like last week, one of them came and said, the first person to get a facial aesthetic tattoo on them gets Botox for life for free. Great idea. Kind of fun for social media. So every week we're coming with new ideas.
My wife's going to have 5 facial aesthetics. She already wants to move to Colorado, so that's easy. Also the dispensary thing's pretty clutch. Jacob.
Yeah, no, I love that saying, right? Let's do cool shit in 2025. But we're still in a building phase right now. And unfortunately, I can't do cool shit yet, right? We need to really make sure that our 2 teams are solid. And once they're operating at a level that we're comfortable, right? And we're driving results, that's when we can start stepping outside of the box. But again, running really, really tight budgets. The CEO is not going to give you, or CFO isn't going to give more money for cool shit if the basics aren't in place and tracking.
Yeah, and the tracking, back to what Lori was saying. Yeah, entirely true. You have to do the ugly stuff first. So important to make sure we're driving patient volume. Yeah, that's interesting, Jacob. Sometimes the foundational stuff. How do you get buy-in on the vision? Jacob, did you come into Synergy and you're like, hey, this is going to be the vision for the thing? Like,
yeah,
we need to do these things. How'd you get buy-in from the rest of the C-suite?
No, so I think that, there was kind of a throw everything at the wall approach and see what stuck, and nothing was really in place. And so I think I'm a pretty strategic individual, right? So I came in and I sat down and I just paused for a minute and I was like, let's take a look and see what's been happening, right? And understanding. And what I discovered is we weren't tracking much of anything. And if we were tracking it, it was not accurate,
Yeah.
right? So I think that process is what in fact, I know that's what gave buy-in. That was their direct feedback, is that they had never had anyone come in and sit down and say, whoa, you guys are running in 500 different directions and we're not tracking or tagging any of it and we don't know the return on it. And so then I had to sit down and kind of focus and say, okay, where was I going to spend my time and energy and move forward with that? And I mean, regularly I get people in the organization reaching out with cool ideas, but I have to keep breaking everyone's heart. And I'm like, until we get the foundation set and we have these 2 channels that I've dedicated my time to up and running, then that after that, then we'll start looking at it. But that's the basics. And so I think they just appreciated that honest approach.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a business that was largely grown through referrals. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and realize, whoa, couldn't find their own spine or shoulder surgeon. So they need to build a component. Yeah, very cool. Lori, over to you.
I think I kind of just walked in and said, what did the previous person do that got them fired or got them asked to take a permanent vacation? That's honestly the way I approach it. Like, where do you think she failed? Where do you think she was good? Also, like, what about historic leaders? Like, what did they do that you were like, wow, this really impacted the business, like line of business? And what did they do that really pissed you off? And I avoid the things that piss people off. Well, I toe that line because I am who I am. And then, I respectfully put together a marketing plan that kind of worked with them, but also had out of the box things that represents me and the direction I wanted the department to go.
But you have to placate a little bit to end up pushing where you want over time. But yeah, that's good. That's a good question to ask. Why didn't the marketing program work the last time, guys? Tell me the frustration so that we can just learn and we don't repeat. And I stay employed. Do either of you guys support talent acquisition, recruitment, anything on the marketing side?
We're going to be, we just started doing a little bit of that, as far as like LinkedIn, types of posts and, things on the website. Indeed for, experience injectors, which is something new for me. I didn't know that, they usually come up with an organization, you train them in-house, but now we want to do this acquisition strategy where we need experience injectors. So I'm having to learn how to do recruiting that way because we don't have a recruiting department. So it's going to kind of fall on us.
Are they on LinkedIn? Are injectors on they're NP? Do
You tell me. I've been here 2 months. I'm trying to figure it out. So if you know where there's experience injectors, let me know.
That list. I know there was one group in aesthetics that was recruiting NPs out of school and saying, hey, listen, I want you to go around, you're going to have a service area and we're going to pay you part-time. But they were recruiting them out of the schools. And so, but that won't get you experience. That won't get you experienced injectors. I have no idea how you build that list. Anyways, Jacob, are you supporting acquisition at all?
At this org, no, but I have in my past, and talking about like doing outside of the box cool shit. We did like a whole recruiting campaign when I was in the salon industry, and we partnered with iHeart and did like a morning talk show radio host thing in the morning, and that was pretty cool. That was a different way, right, to try to drive traffic to the salon to hire new stylists, I guess. Right, because this was like during COVID, and so like they were exiting in droves, right? Everybody was just like, well, didn't help that the salons were shut down. But when we did reopen, yeah, that's how we ended up supporting them, because like, where do you find stylists? Is it through referrals? I was like, let's go to the morning talk show and see who's out there, and did some sign-on bonuses. It was cool. It was fun.
So you're saying, I mean, from what I hear from both of you guys, it takes creativity. Like marketing's still an art, whether it's acquisition on the talent side or patient acquisition, flipping signs, whatever it takes. Like this is still an art, guys. It's not just SEO, PPC, reputation management all day. Like there might be things that we do that are not fully trackable that we must do.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be fun. Marketing's the fun department. And I understand we have to be data analysis too. And we have to like use the keywords and all the things. But at the end of the day, this job's supposed to be fun. And if it's not fun, maybe I picked the wrong career. You know what I mean? Like I like the data. I like having everything to back it up, but there's going to be some things you can't show ROI. And if you want to stand out as a brand, you got to take a risk.
Yep.
I love that. We're going to use that as our tagline. If you want to stand out as a brand, you got to take a risk. we'll see how the compliance people feel about that. Jacob, Lori, we have more questions. Guys, Jacob and Lori are some of the most active, most fun people on LinkedIn. They are the most active and most fun people. FW on our chat that we have going on, but they are people that I lean on when we have a question with a client that I can't get solved. I really recommend, they taught me the value of having private networks, and LinkedIn is great for containing the conversations. Guys, like, part of scaling up, yes, we're learning from the panelists like Lori and Jacob, but also like I want you guys to go build your own communities after the fact, people in same industries, like industries, same industries, not in the same location, just different types of industries. Jacob can borrow things from what aesthetics is doing. Like, guys, this is part of the community. Go find Jacob and Lori, connect with them on LinkedIn, start a chat. If you ever have questions, they are some of the most giving and thoughtful people I've ever met. Jacob, Lori, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, we've got more going on today. Austin's kicking me off, but we have trick-or-treating going on. Then we have patient journey stuff, AMA. Then we have Speed Network. And you know I'll be here till I collapse. Adios.
All right.